Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello, welcome to the channel. I appreciate you stopping by. Today we are talking about Starfield. If you like Starfield content and you want to hear me rant about random Starfield stuff as well as give some Starfield tips here and there, give us a like and subscribe. Today we are talking about settings. There are some settings in Starfield that, in my opinion, make the game incredibly more fun. And I wanted to share this with everybody so you have a chance to hopefully enjoy the game a little bit more yourself. So we're going to get right into it. I'm just going to do this one in real time, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so head over to the setting menu on the main menu, pause menu, settings, and gameplay options. Gameplay options. And essentially in here, there are some things that are going to make the game a lot more fun. So let's start out with enemy combat damage. You want this set to extreme. It's going to give you a boost in XP, but it's also going to make the game a lot more dynamic. So you're not going to be a bullet sponge anymore. Bullets are going to feel real. Player damage, and move that to very easy. So that means when you shoot, you're also going to deal a lot more damage, which is going to make the game a lot more fun. And enemy ship damage, I usually leave that one alone. Player ship damage, I usually leave that one alone. Ammo weight, this can go either way. It just depends if you want to manage the weight from ammo. I usually leave this off. Carry capacity, usually leave this at normal, just standard carry capacity. Don't want to make the game too tedious from being over encumbered because that's going to happen plenty anyway. Cargo distance, usually leave that at normal so you can access the ship's cargo when you're at like a vendor or you're near the ship, but other than that, not so much. Vendor credits. This one I usually take to greatly increased, and that will take a little bit of that extra XP away, but it allows you to stop at like one or two vendors and gain like 50,000 credits instead of having to go to the vendors, use their $5,000, rest, repeat. I just don't think that's that much fun. So I always turn this one to greatly increased. Medical item healing. I think normal's fine here. Food healing, normal. Sleep healing, normal. Substance. So this is allows you to get buffs or debuffs from eating and drinking. Usually turn this to positive and negative, and you get a little boost from that. So positive if you're eating the right foods and doing things you need to be doing. Negative if you're starving to death. So I think that's a good way to put that one. Combat affiliation gain. So this sets how likely you are to gain afflictions during combat. I think like increased a little bit on this. It makes things a little more interesting. And it gives you another boost. Affliction treatment. Sets how treatments work on affliction. Yeah, I usually leave this one alone. Prognosis. Usually leave this one alone, but advance is kind of fun too. Environmental damage. Usually think it's kind of fun to make this advanced too. This gives you environmental damage and afflictions are gained from this. Essentially makes it where environmental damage and afflictions are gained from hazards, weather, and dangerous planets. It just makes it a little more interesting. You have to equip the proper spacesuits and things of that nature. Environmental damage restoration, I usually leave this one alone. Aim assist, I usually just leave it normal. And beyond that, I think we're getting into my mods here. So like immersive looting, which is a really fun mod, and I'll put it up on the screen, but you just have settings for that. You know, where your body goes, the crew eats food is another mod. So yeah, it looks like everything else on here is essentially left alone. But I can't stress enough uh, these first couple. So if you change nothing on here except the first two, and change the enemy combat damage to extreme, and change your own damage to very easy, which essentially makes your damage extreme, that is going to make a world of a difference in your playthrough in Starfield. No more bullet sponges, every gun hits hard, and the enemies all hit hard too. So you got to play a little bit more cover, you have to play a little more tactical. You definitely can't just be a bullet sponge and run into the middle of battle. That's fine when you're like low level, because I feel when you're low level, like you'll get knocked out from doing that anyway. But when you get to be like level 100 or so, it becomes a little boring because nothing can really hurt you and you just run around, where this kind of makes it a more tactical game all the time. So can't recommend that one enough. And then if you are a high level and you're still feeling OP, there's some really cool mods that change the systems to like a minimum of 75 level or a minimum of 100 level. I'll throw these on the screen real quick. But those also really will those will really increase your quality of life when you're playing the game, makes the loot drops better, just makes everything more interesting. So if you found this video helpful, give it a like, shoot me a comment if you have any other questions, and subscribe if you're feeling like it. If not, no big deal. Appreciate you. Talk soon. Bye.